Welcome everybody to Talking Balls, the podcast normally recorded in my car. At this time, I'm in the comfort of my own sofa. And joining me for this episode is I've got some guys from the FNX network who all run their own podcasts. You can find all their links in the description below. First off, I've got Kojo from Free in Midfield and Footy Says. How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, very, very well, thank you.
Good.
And next up is Eman from One Up Front Media. How you doing, Eman? You all right?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Thank you for coming on. And last but not least, Stel from Shoot the Defence and various other things. What's the coaching one called?
Are you trying to say that I haul myself out?
If that's what you want to say, Stel.
I'm easy.
Your words, not mine.
Stel, you're a man of many talents, put it that way.
Thank you very much. So the ladies say, like the milk tray man, isn't it?
Milk tray.
Or because the ladies love. Anyway.
You're doing all right, Stel, though.
Yeah, I'm okay. I was going to say hello in Norwegian, but it's the same as in English. So, hello.
There you go. If you're not laughing, you're learning. This is an educational show. Christmas period. Christmas fixtures are thick and fast. Absolute chaos. We've had one round. We've had the pre-Christmas games. So have a look at some of those. We'll start off with, I believe, was the first game of the week, Arsenal-Burnley. And the
second game, I think. The Liverpool Wolves.
Oh, yeah, I've missed that.
So Wolves Liverpool, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to ignore Liverpool at the moment because it looks like they're gonna.
No, don't say it. Don't.
No. We'll get into that later on.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But what I brought out of that game was that are Burnley the smelliest team in the Premier League because they did it against Spurs and they did it against Arsenal. They fucking shat the place up, didn't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm right now. What I'm enjoying is Sean Dyche now going on rants about diving. I think it's kind of funny because it gives him something to grovel about all the time. Not just doesn't want to say that my team's not good enough because his team's not good enough, and they stink literally on the pitch. So they're going out there doing WWE/UFC, whatever they feel like doing on the day, and they're still getting pammed around the pitch. So it's hilarious to watch. And yeah, it's about time they went down there and joined like another smelly team like Millwall or something. I don't want to say that actually. I should shoot. Then pick another team because that's trouble. Rotherham. There you go.
Rotherham. What did you make of it, Eman? Did you enjoy it?
Well, I'd never enjoy Arsenal having easy games, and for some reason, the funny thing is with Burnley, that whenever they play Arsenal at Turf Moor, they always will give them a bit more of a game. I think last season the game ended 3-2, I think it was, and this season's game was a similar game in terms of Arsenal were able to sort of get their goal and they were able to sort of pick Burnley off bit by bit. But Burnley they don't do everything right, but they're horrible at the back. Like you're starting to see that the players that they have, they're just not really that good. And when they have to sort of attack and go forward, they just leave so many gaps. And Arsenal were able to just slice them to pieces yesterday. And to be honest, 3-1 actually flatters Burnley. It should have been a lot more, if not for Arsenal's poor finishing. They're a hopeless team, really, really bad. And I guess also the other thing is how long can a manager like Sean Dyche get away with such negative tactics? I'm not too sure what the reason is this season why they've dropped off so badly, but I think he has to. For me, Burnley are a greedy club. They're just not buying players, and they're getting a lot of this TV money in. And what are they doing with it?
Yeah, what do you make of it, Stel? Because like Eman just said, there's been a massive drop in performance, and it's hard to explain why, apart from the fact they're just rubbish.
Is there anything good about Burnley, honestly?
I can't wait for them to go down.
Look at their kit. It's claret and blue, right? I've got no problem with that. Look at Villa. It's a classy claret and blue. West Ham, it's a classy claret and blue. The Burnley kit reminds me of like an unwashed Sunday League kit. That's the thing for a start, right? Look at the name of their stadium, Turf Moor. Do you know what a moor is? It's uncultivated land. Yeah? It fits about 10,000 people. Their football is diabolical. The manager is just like a ginger Phil Mitchell. It's appalling, man. I don't understand the point of Burnley. I really don't. Like, even their a new badge, it's pixelated, man. It's like they did it on MS Paint.
8-bit.
It's terrible. But like, as for the football, man, it's garbage. It really is. And it's the same turgid dross you see every week. It's 4-5-1. It's, relying on one or two players that are dead ball experts like Robbie Brady and, this Hendricks guy who they spent 15 million quid on, however much it was, and they got this New Zealand striker that is just the same as Sam Vokes, but from down under, Sorry for people in Australia that get offended, It's the same crap. And then he tries this style of football where, last season they played pretty football for a bit at the beginning of the season and, they somehow got a Europa League spot. They got knocked out by Olympiacos, who got rid of 15 players in the summer. They're just crap. And the sooner they go, the better. I'm bored of hearing this whole love affair about Sean Dyche. Last season it was, he's a genius, he's this, he's that, and now he's feeling the pressure and he's starting to fucking bite at people. Fuck him, let him go down. I don't give a shit.
Have you guys seen that footage that Sky Sports tweeted out of Ashley Barnes wrestling Socrates?
Oh yeah.
In the match yesterday, and they just put their football or rugby, which kind of just sums it up for Burnley. They're just hopeless.
They're one of those irrelevant teams. They're like Sunderland. It's like what are you actually doing here? Like, why are you here? Do you add something to this league? I mean, you wear kit, you kick a ball around, but can you not do that somewhere else? People don't want you here, kind of thing.
The thing is, Kojo, yeah, like you look at these teams that are lower down in the table, like Bournemouth. I mean, I'm not Eddie Howe's biggest fan, but at least they're promoting youth. They're doing something different,
Yeah.
They're getting people off the, on the edge of their seats. The fans in the stadium. I look at Burnley. When did their fans ever get excited? Like, I feel sorry for their fans, really, because they're putting up with this shit manager. And again, if Sean Dyche was Polish or German or whatever, he'd have been sacked by now. But for some reason, they're sticking up for this guy because he's British and they think that he's like, the next Messiah. He's shit. He's crap.
You say about them getting excited. They even qualified for Europe on the end of an 8-game losing streak.
Well,
oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, and like I said before, look who knocked them out. Look who knocked them out, for fuck's sake. A shit Greek team. And Olympiacos are shit now. I mean, they were bad before, but they're shit now.
Yeah, I for one cannot
They
wait.
They didn't even want to keep Kevin Mirallas. That says it all.
He's still banging him. He's in Turkey, isn't he? Banging him in.
No, he's in at Fiorentina.
Is he? Oh,
yeah.
Mirallas,
the Olympiacos got him on loan from Everton, and he had this shit back in the last season. They're like, "Fuck this! Nope, don't need you. Bye." And they brought in Yaya Toure, and they sacked him as well because he was shit. So,
Jesus Christ.
Again, their owner's a heroin dealer, allegedly. So. And the owner's Nottingham Forest.
Is he the one who brought a gun, or was that Pauk?
No, that was Pauk, yeah.
Pauk.
But no,
Pauk,
Marinakis is the guy that part owns Nottingham Forest.
Oh.
So he owns Olympiacos and Nottingham Forest, kind of.
Oh, God, another Pozzo family. Fuck off.
Yeah, he's brought a few Greeks over, but they're shit, so...
Well, I think we're all in agreement that Burnley are ruining football for the neutral fan, and the sooner they go down, the better our lives will all be. But then the other end of the table, we touched on it in the intro. We're going to touch on it a bit more. Are Liverpool en route to the title because they're 5 points clear now?
4. Is it 4?
4, but they're looking good. They're obviously tricky fixture against Wolves, isn't it? But they've done it.
See, I refuse to say that they're going to win the league because my agenda is strong against them. So I will completely refuse to say it. So the thing is, I have now had to stomach City winning 3 Premier League titles, so now I can live with that. I don't think anyone actually comprehends what could actually happen if LFC touch a Premier League title. And I'm not talking about, they could improve and become a powerhouse. I'm talking about just the absolute nonsense that's going to fly out of their mouths. I can't. I'm not going to do it. So either Spurs to somehow do the miraculous comeback of all time, or if City has to go and just win another league title and, be 16 behind Man United, that's absolutely fine. But Liverpool, no.
Kojo,
No.
there'll be a petition to get Jurgen Klopp a knighthood.
No,
it'll be unbearable.
Literally like Salah did when Salah had one great season at Liverpool for his first year, and then we saw documentaries on the BBC about him. So, imagine if Klopp wins. I mean, Klopp is loved by everybody in this country, so he might as well marry, what's her name, Megan or whatever. He can do whatever he wants at that point. It's frustrating. So bun Liverpool. Come on, Spurs or City. No, come on, Spurs.
Yeah, the thing is with this Liverpool, this hype that's around them, it's only 4 points. Like, it's only 4 points. Like, it's not like they've got an 8 or a 9 point gap where you just think, okay, they'll need to drop 3 points and City need to gain three points. Well, 3 wins from 3 games. It's not like that. I mean, this could turn in a week or 2 weeks. I mean, we've not even gone through the Christmas period yet. So I think, Liverpool fans are right to be excited. There's still a long way to go. So let's see what happens.
Well, let's say it like it is. They're unbeaten for a start. Okay, they're putting teams away at ease. They're not breaking a sweat. This is what concerns me. They're so good going forward. Every time they get forward, you think that they're going to score or they're going to at least create a decent opportunity. And defensively, they've got it down to a T now. And it just shows how bringing in a quality central defender that's got leadership skills, what difference it makes. They were lacking. If they didn't have Van Dijk, they'd be 4th or 5th right now. But he's made such a difference. And this is what concerns me as a United fan, because they are that good at the moment. Remember how City were last season, blowing teams away? I see that with Liverpool. The only thing I can say is he's not rotating as much as I thought he would. I think it was only Burnley where he made those wholesale changes. That he's not rotating as much. So maybe fatigue might creep in. But then again, when you're winning games and you've got the momentum, it doesn't matter. Adrenaline gets you through the last 20 minutes of games. Do you get what I'm saying? And normally they kill teams off by the first half hour, 45 minutes anyway. So listen, as a United fan, it pains me to admit how good they are, man. But I don't think they'll go the season unbeaten. They've got tricky games. They've got City away in the next few weeks.
And they've got Arsenal. They've got Arsenal as well.
Arsenal got so many injuries at the moment, man. I can't.
Yeah, that's true. And it's Arsenal at Anfield as well. So.
Yeah, but we're always seeing an entertaining game between those two at Anfield. So I don't know. It's tricky, but listen, anything can happen. As you said, man, we're only halfway through the season. We've seen it happen so many times in the past where teams have been rampant. And then all of a sudden, they just fall off, whether it be because of other commitments or injuries or suspensions or players believing the hype that the press put out. So I think it's down to Klopp, and it's a test of his attitude and his test of man management skills to keep these players on their feet, or grounded, so to speak. They don't get too big-headed, and they just continue playing the way they're doing. But, one game at a time, as Ole said the other day.
Well, the last 2 times the team at the top at Christmas didn't win the league, it was Liverpool both times.
I mean, the history, innit? Heritage.
They love history, so hopefully it comes back to haunt them.
Yeah.
It's football heritage.
Heritage. So,
You mentioned Van Dijk as well. Is that what it's going to take for them to cock this up, that Van Dijk injury? If he's out,
they lose Van Dijk, they're done.
Is that there? Yeah.
Straight away, they're done. I'll even sit with confidence and say, hey, see, you're finishing 3rd or you're finishing 4th. You're not winning this league. Sorry, it's over. I'm that confident. You lose Van Dijk and they're gone.
I think they might get burnt out. That's what I'm hoping. They might get burnt out. But the thing is, Klopp has kind of found a way to conserve their energy as well. As I said, they're steamrolling teams, and in the last 20 minutes, they're just killing the game off and just keeping the ball. But as I said, they move the ball so well, and they've got that strength in depth. Don't forget, Naby Keita's come in after a layoff, and he doesn't look like he's missed a beat. Henderson can come in, and I know he's not the greatest player, but he's got that composure in the middle of the park. Milner is another very good player. I think he's very underrated. does so much to the team, can play in so many different positions. I think that the main problem isn't just Van Dijk. If the fullback Robertson gets injured, they're going to be very, very stretched because Moreno is dog shit, man. He's utter tripe.
It's awful.
So
Yeah, he's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're killing games with possession. So before Liverpool would always want to score more and more goals. Now they're just saying as soon as we get 2 or 3, we don't need to go for any more. And I think that's one of the key differences. And I think when they try to go deep into the Champions League and they have to juggle the squad and still sort of keep City away from them. I think we'll start to really see the measure of who they are because we know City can do it. We're not sure whether Liverpool could do it. So right now, I'm reserving my judgment on Liverpool.
yeah, but I'm not trying to be funny, but I think they'll absolutely pie Bayern Munich. I think they will take.
But it's after that though, isn't it? It's when they get to the sharp end because last season they were able to go deep into the Champions League because they weren't competitive in the Premier League. When you're going for 2 and their squad isn't as deep as City's. So
yeah, but we had that United. We had that in 2008, man. 2008, 2009, that season when we 2007, 2008 when we done the double.
Yeah.
I remember back into that season, we were playing games and our players looked dead on their feet, but we were somehow grinding out wins.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
So again, this is what I said before about momentum and confidence. If you're winning games, that extra 10% or 20% energy you need, it's just adrenaline that gets you through it. And when you got the crowd there, and again, I hate to admit it, their fans are probably the best in the country when it comes to creating an atmosphere. So when they're up for games, man, I don't know. It's worrying. It's very worrying.
Yeah, it's true.
Indeed.
My fingers crossed. I mean, I've got no such allegiance against Liverpool as you boys do, being United fans, but the Southampton link doesn't sit well with me either, if I'm perfectly honest.
You made £7 million off that dead striker. What's his name? Ricky
Lambert.
Lambert. Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know. When you call him a dead striker, I don't know what you meant because he's an absolute legend for us.
Well, he didn't do too well there, did he?
No, but hey ho, I don't care. Once he left us, it doesn't matter, did it? I'll talk about that though. I was thinking about the players that have actually gone to Liverpool from us and actually progressed, not. And I think it's only Mane and Van Dijk. I wouldn't say Klein's progressed. I wouldn't say Lallana's done a lot. Lovren's dog shit. There you go. All right,
before that, when was the last player actually left Southampton for Liverpool? I can't even remember the last player.
Mane. Was it Mane?
Yeah, but before that, I'm talking like
Van Dijk. Sorry, Van Dijk. Sorry.
Something like before all of these. No, before it all started. Before Lovren went now. I think wasn't it like Grobbelaar went to Southampton from Liverpool, wasn't it? It was the other way around.
We used to take it off them, yeah. Was it Crouch? Crouch would have been the last one.
Peter Crouch, yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, Crouch.
Yeah.
He was all right.
That was like 2005, 2006, the season we went down.
Yeah.
It might have been a season. Yeah, it was the season we went down. So it was 2004 to 5. Summer of 2005 they got him. Good signing for them as well.
Ruddock went from Tottenham, didn't he?
Couldn't tell you if Tottenham was.
Yeah, I think it was at Spurs, but then he went to Liverpool and Ruddock. I'm pretty sure. Was it that way around? I can't remember.
Well,
whatever.
They're not going to want any of our players now, so it's all right. We touched on Manchester City, as you spoke about, wanting them to win the league over Liverpool. They're struggling a bit at the moment, 2 losses in a row. And what we did see was probably what's going to be goal of the season, unless someone pulls something sublime out of the bag. How much did we enjoy that Townsend goal?
Andros' mother from Cyprus, So this is very good for me.
It was a stunner. Is it the best goal? It's got to be the best goal we've seen this season, isn't it?
I think so.
So far?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah. It's a belter. It's a belter.
The technique, it's the way it was hit, and it didn't even like dip or rise or anything. It was just arrowed straight past the goalkeeper. Yeah. Just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous strike.
The thing is, you see so many good goals So until I look back at the archive and see all the goals, I think it definitely is up there though. It was an absolute belter, so I'll give him his credit. But I think he came out a few days before saying that he needs to start scoring the scrappy goals. So it's kind of fitting that he kind of scores another cracker. Because he wants to sort of help Palace because they need to get more goals in their team, and even now Zaha is struggling for goals. So it's kind of fitting that his partner up front, Andros, is just chipping in.
Andros just needs to score goals. I don't know about scrappy goals. He just needs to score goals. In his career, 316 games, 36 goals.
Wowzers.
Everyone thinks he's got this amazing shot, like always scores worldies. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Crystal Palace, he's got 10 goals in 100 games, and he's only scored more for Tottenham. So and he's been about 24 clubs.
Yeah. The problem with Andros Townsend is that he's a lot of his shots are on target, but they're always straight down the middle. As soon as he hits it into either one of the corners, the ball tends to go in, and that's one thing I've noticed from him from about 2 seasons ago at Palace. He's had quite a few good games against United, but he just always hits it right down the middle, and those are keepers will pick that up like change. To be honest,
yeah. The thing is, I remember he went through that spell at Spurs where he got in the England squad and he was playing a few games here and there. And he's just one of these players where he didn't build on his potential. And it's frustrating because he's got a lot of the attributes you need to be a quality player in this day and age. You know, he's quite strong. He's quick. He's got a good left foot. His passing is pretty decent. But I think it's just the lack of goals. It could be a mentality. I don't know. But I think he's a half decent player, but he's at his level, to be fair.
How old is he now?
28, I want to say.
27, yeah. 27.
Andros Townsend is 27.
Yeah, he's 20. It's July birthday, so he's pretty much 27 and a half.
My God, I thought he was in his 30s by now, to be honest. He's been around
he's been around for a long time, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he made his Tottenham debut in 2009.
Wow.
Okay.
That is nuts.
Yeah, he scored 3 league goals for Tottenham in his 7 years there. I'm going to keep running this agenda that he doesn't score goals because I can't stand it that everyone thinks he's hit the post for England once and everyone's like, it's just such a good shot. Fuck off. I know it sounds like I'm picking on Crystal Palace because I had my rant about Zaha a few weeks ago. Just stop buying fucking shithouse potential players. Players that actually have ability.
Well, let me know if you get an Amazon delivery of a Zaha blow-up doll, because that's from me.
Fucking hell. Now, there's quite a bit to talk about goalkeepers today. But before we go into the bad, I want to talk about the good. I saw a pretty convincing article from Michael Cox last week telling me that Alisson is actually the best goalkeeper in the league and arguably the best in the world. I, for one, think Oblak is the best in the world. And what do you guys think, about the league? Because it's between Alisson and De Gea, really, isn't it? And we'll expand it to the world. Anyone out there better than those?
The old adage where a goalkeeper is only as good as the back four in front of him. That's the way I see it. Yeah. That's the way I see it. Because if you've got a goalkeeper with a decent back four, the pressure is even more for him to perform because there's a lack of opportunities from the opposition. And then when there's a one-on-one, he's got to stand up and be counted. Like David De Gea has been pretty bad this season, but then United have been dreadful, defensively, and there's that consistency in the back line. Your Liverpool back four, you can name. Do you know what I mean? You know who's going to be that back four. Whereas with United, it's like, well, Christ, how many different combinations have there been? I think under Mourinho it's like 60 odd, So, look, Alisson, he's been at Liverpool for a few months. He's made a couple of mistakes. It hasn't led to any defeats or any big goals, so to speak. So it's easy to say, he's one of the best in the league. And he is one of the best in the league. But at Roma, he wasn't great, in my opinion, anyway. Again, they had a shambolic backline, Fazio and crap they had there. I don't know. They got what's his name? Manolas, the defender. Yeah, he's half decent. But Yeah, Alisson's a very good goalkeeper. He's Brazil's number one. But what about Ederson? I think Ederson's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think he's the best in the league, to be fair.
Edison.
He's got
Yeah,
some mistakes in him as well, hasn't he?
he
But
does.
but I
But
suppose
there are.
he's,
But then again, when it comes to a goalkeeper that is expected to use his feet more than his hands, naturally they're going to make more mistakes. You know.
yeah.
So
What about what do you reckon the Premier League has the world's best goalkeeper in it, regardless of who it is? Are you discounting your Neuer, your Oblak, your
well,
Courtois?
again, Oblak plays for Atletico Madrid, we're a side that rarely concedes goals because they're defensively sound. Put Oblak in goal for, I don't know, Real Betis, and then you're going to see a David De Gea performance, aren't you? I don't know. Look, there are so many good goalkeepers, but I grew up in an era where the best goalkeepers were Peter Schmeichel, David Seaman, at the time, like Walter Zenga. Again, I'm going by showing my age, you know. So there's a plethora of talent when it came to goalkeepers. Nowadays, it just seems that the best goalkeepers are FIFA related. You know, if you've got a goalkeeper that you could buy for 200,000 coins on FIFA, then obviously you're the best goalkeeper in the world. So I don't know. Again, this Michael Cox guy is he's a statistician, isn't he? So he's probably basing his theory on the statistics and all that kind of stuff, which is fair enough. But again, unless Liverpool come against a team that peppers them with shots, then we'll see what Alisson's like. So I don't know. He made that save against Napoli, and everyone's like, "Oh, what a great save!" But let's be fair, straight at him.
Yeah,
So
that annoyed me.
I don't know. But then again, he stopped it, so you can't argue it.
I'd have stopped that though.
Or would Karius have probably gone through him? literally through him.
He would have over kicked it in. What about you, Kojo? You got any opinions on the goalkeepers?
Well, yeah, I kind of pretty much agree with what was said. I mean, De Gea has had an awful defense in front of him for a number of years now, but has been making ridiculous saves. Right, this season we've conceded more goals already than we did for the whole of last season. And case in point, yeah, they beat Cardiff 5-1, but then in Cardiff's one attack, they got a penalty because of stupid defending. You know, so that's the kind of things you have to deal with. Alisson's been very good for Liverpool so far. That's undeniable. The thing about Oblak is what Stel said was correct. They don't concede because their defense has been ridiculously solid for a number of years now. And when you watch Atletico games, you hardly even get to the goalkeeper before you can start talking about him making stupendous saves. Obviously, when he's called upon, he's there, which is what you need, the concentration side of it. But he's rarely troubled, but he's still a top goalkeeper. Doesn't take it away from him. He's just that he's not as troubled as De Gea is. De Gea's got nonsense in front of him, so every day he's facing up against constant attacks. So I'll stick by my one in terms of De Gea's number one for me. That's in the world as well, but Oblak is my number two, absolutely.
Hey man, what's your opinions on this? You backing it as well? I'm guessing you're going to go.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just going to be biased, and I think I don't know, man. I'm just a bit old school in everything. I try my hardest not to get drawn into too much sensationalism about players. I don't like when players that don't have a large body of work get praised and overhyped, because for me, greatness or being the best also requires time. Alisson had his first full season at Roma last season, and even before that, he wasn't on anybody's radar. Obviously, Liverpool have looked at him and brought him in, and as Stel said, even though he's made a few errors, they've not led to any losses. So when it comes down to that, I think Alisson is a good keeper, but I think De Gea's previous body of work post Ferguson is enough for me to sort of keep him up there, because even though he's having a dodgy season with a very inconsistent and forever changing back line, he still has a repertoire of saves that mean that he needs to always be considered for me as the one to be better than in the Premier League. I think he's the best in the world. But one goalkeeper that I don't think gets enough credit is Ter Stegen at Barcelona. I think he's a phenomenal keeper. And because obviously Neuer is the German number one, he doesn't get to show a lot of that when they play in their qualifiers and when they play in tournaments. But again, Barcelona also have a very dodgy back four, and he comes up with very crucial saves, a lot of crucial saves. So yeah, for me, my one would be De Gea, Ter Stegen. I think Edison is up there for me as well, but again, he still doesn't have a large catalogue in terms of his body of work, and I find it hard to sort of, because with Allison and Edison, I sort of kind of see them on the same level, but when you see that for Edison, he was part of a City team that 100 points, and I think he even assisted last season, whereas for some reason Allison is number one for Brazil. So how is Edison better than Allison, or is Allison better than Edison? Because one's part of a great Manchester City team, but then he's been usurped by Allison when it comes to international duty. So those two for me are of a similar level. Both world-class keepers, though, definitely.
The thing is, what we need to realize is that the role of a goalkeeper has changed so much in the past 3 to 4 years, right? Nowadays, we've got goalkeepers that have to be able to use their feet.
They're football players now, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So the goalkeepers that we've all mentioned can use their feet, right? And the funny thing is that it's made out as if it's something new. I remember Fabian Barthez being one of the first goalkeepers to do that. Fabian Barthez was doing that in the early 90s. René Higuita, one of the first goalkeepers to be doing so. Chilavert, the Paraguay goalkeeper. It's nothing new, but because the way the game has evolved, where playing out from the back, as they call it, it's something that everyone is trying to do. Like, look at Leno at Arsenal. He's coming for Petr Cech. Okay, Petr Cech was injured or suspended or whatever, and he came in and he's taken the role. But Petr Cech can't use his feet as well as Leno. That's why Leno is in the team. But at the end of the day, it goes back to when I spoke to Lee Harper, that was number 2 at Arsenal for many years behind David Seaman. He goes, the role of a goalkeeper is to stop the ball from going in. They use their hands. And you got to base it on the best shot stopper. And I think David De Gea is the best shot stopper out of the lot that's listed. And that goes back to what Eman said about, the whole catalogue and all the stuff that he's done in the past for United and having to keep... He's been United's best player for the past 4 seasons. It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. I think Edison and De Gea in terms of shot stopping are the 2 best out there. But going back again, what we said about Oblak, Atletico Madrid, they defend very narrow as well. So a lot of the times when teams getting behind them, it's through the flanks. But at the same time, you've got Godin and you've got a good spine there. So when that ball comes in the box, it's cleared easy. So it makes Oblak's job better. That being said, I haven't seen Oblak make a massive high-profile mistake. So that shows how good he is in terms of his composure and his mentality.
Yeah, I tend to agree with what you say, especially about Oblak. I bring him up because, as you'll see in the next couple of days, I've written a massive article on him, on his past, his current, and his future. And I've got some cracking statistics in there. Well, I'll tell you one, a cheeky one, an exclusive. Over the last 4 seasons, he's saved 87.4% of shots he's faced, which is a lot when you think about it.
but are these including shots from outside the box? Because, as I said, with Atletico Madrid, they're keeping teams from outside their box, so they're limiting teams to shoot outside the box.
Yeah, there is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we do have ones from inside the box as well. They were decent. I remember thinking, "Fuck me," but you'll see. You'll see it on what day is it? 23rd. You'll see on Friday. It'll be out. Next up, this one I've really freaking struggled with. I was thinking for ages, who is your signing of the season so far? Because we're 1 game away from being halfway through the season. Boxing Day matches are the halfway point. There's some obvious ones out there. Your Lucas Torreira, your David Brooks at Bournemouth, I think is one who's got to be put in there. But who are your signings of the season so far?
My one is Dubravka for Newcastle. Considering they bought him for only £4 million, the standard of goalkeeping he's been at this season has been fantastic for me. I don't think Newcastle would be at as many points as they are without Dubravka, and especially it's just about the money being spent in this climate of football to get him for £4 million and such quite a low wage. Quite a low wage, and for him to be performing at the level that he is, I think he's a great goalkeeper. And they've jumped into a bargain there because if Newcastle are now to sell him, say at the end of the season, they're making a big profit, in my opinion. I think they're getting at least 25 million for him. He's been brilliant, and he was brilliant last season as well when he came on a loan deal. So to get him permanent for 4 million is an absolute steal, man. So Dubravka's my shout. He's been brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of that, and we were actually in a massive argument about goalkeepers this evening. So, Eman, what about you? Who are you going for your season?
I think for me, I would go for Richarlison. At Everton. It was a bit of a a toss up between him and Felipe Anderson. I think they're both. The reason why I've gone for them is because I like to see sort of old fashioned like wing play. They've brought a freshness back to the Premier League. Both of them have come in for like really big fees this season, and I think Richarlison's got 8 goals so far in the Premier League, and the fact that he offers a lot of versatility. So Marco Silva's actually looking at him and trying to get him to play centre forward in place of Cenk Tosun. Which really shows you how much Marco Silva actually rates him. He's also because what I like to see from a lot of wingers is the double, which is basically to offer goals and assists. And Richarlison is really putting in some good numbers. I think he assisted Sigurdsson's goal against Tottenham today, even though they lost the game. But he's still contributing. He's mobile, and I think Everton's plan is probably to try and keep him for another season, and then get him on a big money move to somewhere else after that, I think.
Yes, can't really argue with that, if I'm honest. I'm not a huge Richarlison fan. I don't know why. He's just something unfathomably unlikable.
He's proven me wrong, because even like last season when he was at Watford, he was very good at the beginning of the season, but then he tailed off after November. But this season he started, yeah, exactly around that time. So I guess there's question marks over his temperament, but yeah, he's doing the business this season, and we're halfway through December.
Who's getting your vote, Stel?
Oh, this one's easy, very easy. I'll give you a hint. He played in the French Ligue 2 last season. He played 21 games.
Oh, Guendouzi.
Guendouzi. £7 million they signed him for Arsenal. The kid, it's almost as if he's been playing in the Premier League for 10, 15 years. He's got an engine. His range of passing is fantastic. His awareness. I haven't seen a central midfielder like that since probably Emmanuel Petit. The kid is just ridiculous. And he's got, he tracks every blade of grass. He's confident. He loves to get stuck in. He's got a ridiculous hairstyle as well. He gets my vote easy, hands down.
Yeah, he was in my shortlist. I was having a think, and it was Guendouzi. And then I was looking at players who have made an impact so big on the club that without them, I question where they'd be. And so that's why I mentioned David Brooks for Bournemouth earlier, because I think he's under the radar, performing for them very, very well. Got 2 at the weekend, obviously. Another one is, you mentioned Dubravka was a loan to a permanent. Watford signed Deulofeu permanently this summer. And I think the amount of goals and the quality of goals he scored for them is the reason they are 7th. Just below United, aren't they, at the moment? So he's definitely in mine. I probably will go for Deulofeu, just because I think without him, Watford would be probably nearer Newcastle than Man United for me.
I think Balbuena's been good for West Ham as well, but
yeah,
he's been good.
Oh, yeah, that's another good shout.
Felipe Anderson as well.
Felipe Anderson, that's my boy. That's my boy. I was screaming his name all over Twitter, and then West Ham made a bid, and I got mad.
West Ham, Mason, they're classically a club that we look at and go, "You're a basket case when it comes to the transfer market." But
Yeah.
you mentioned Balbuena, Felipe
Fabianski's
Anderson,
been good.
Fabianski, Issa Diop as well. I know he was
Yeah.
22 million, but he's not looking out of place, is he?
No, he settled well. He settled very well.
Yeah. The next up is the. I've been looking forward to this one just because I want to start calling you wankers online out a bit more. Basically, I'm sick of reading bullshit and people getting away with it. So, outrageous opinions. I'm going to do this every episode. I'm going to ask my guests to come on, bring me an outrageous opinion they've seen online. They're going to send me a screenshot and so I can tag you in it on Twitter and prove that you said it, because I know you knobheads like to delete stuff. So have we all got one? I know I've got one.
I believe I put
I,
one down.
I don't have one, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
That's all right. We'll start off with Kojo's because I've got the screenshot. Let me just get that bad boy up. It is from @FK Hainage. So is your profile picture is questionable.
That's a question.
Jesus.
And the fact this tweet's got 333 likes is just vile. Watching Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first press conference, could you imagine us bringing Christopher Ray to be Arsenal manager? Shambles. This is perfect because you three are Man United fans. Just how disrespectful is that to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
First and foremost, the fact that he even, Christopher Ray is a Premier League winner, so I'll give him that. But that's all he has, because Solskjaer has a Premier League times 5 on him. So first and foremost, to even put them in the same sentence is very, very disrespectful. Number two, one guy is scoring goals in Champions League finals. One guy is watching his players do stuff on the pitch to get him a title. That's number two. Number three, how dare you compare Ray to even Teddy? You can't touch Teddy Sheringham. He doesn't touch Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Talk to him next to who's a dead striker that's got a Premier League title. Bellion. Put him next to Bellion. That's as far as I'm concerned. I ain't trying to hear his name over here, man. About if we had Christopher Ray. What kind? You know what? To be honest, he might have been joking, but when you tweet that kind of nonsense, I'm gonna come for your neck, and I'm coming for his neck. That was utter nonsense. But then he's a gooner, so what do I expect?
Yeah, have you other boys got any input on that? I'm sure you'll echo Kojo's sentiments, even if it's in a less aggressive manner.
The thing is, what you'll find is that anything that happens at Man United, there's always going to be someone to pipe up about it, and obviously United are an easy target because they've been playing absolutely appallingly lately, and people wanted Mourinho to stay because it was funny, and now Solskjaer's come in and we won our first game, and people are getting a bit too giddy. But again, these parody accounts, these crap accounts like Mike Sands and Well Beast and all that kind of shit, they put out these retarded tweets to cater for these retarded followers to retweet, and oh yeah, it's such a really funny tweet, and then some idiot from a massive account like Lad Bible finds it funny, and then they nick it, and so on and so forth. I don't have time for people like this, because again, it's little 12-year-olds that just hit that retweet button because it's funny for them. I think it's funny that the world that we live in is all about clicks and seeing how many people can banter off each other. That's all it is. That's why you see a lot of these YouTube celebrities getting loads of hits, because they don't say anything productive, they don't do anything interesting. It's just reactive stuff. It's the amount of people they can rope in with their utter bollocks. There's several people that I can point out. One of them works for Copper 90, and he's got some stupid gimmicks, whereas he sits there complaining about the Home Office, and it's like, well, you came out here and you were probably on benefits, for fuck's sake. So enough, leave it.
Yeah, no Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there. What about you, Eman? Are you a Christopher Ray fan?
I don't even remember him, to be honest, and that just lets you know like how much I don't really rate what he did or didn't do for Arsenal. So, but
Christopher
yeah,
Wray scored a lot of important goals for Arsenal when they done the double. I remember they went to Wimbledon in '98, and there was an atrocious game, and he scored the winner. And I think at the time Arsenal was like 10 points behind United or something, and they went on some ridiculous winning streak at the back end of the season, which ultimately United cracked, and injuries and suspensions and whatnot. But he was a half decent player. I think he ended up in Scotland playing for like St Mirren or someone like that. He was related to George Weah. I think it was his nephew or something like that.
oh wow, okay.
But yeah.
You seem pretty passionate about this bullshit online, Stel. Have you got an outrageous opinion you would like to share with us?
Do you know what? There's loads, but I can't find one exactly I can say to you, yeah, this is the one, because there's just so many idiots online, it's like shit parents. Like, you're wondering, like, maybe they should just bring out this law where you need to take a test before you're a parent, to see if you're fit and proper. It's the same with people that use social media. If you're an utter fucking weapon, you shouldn't be anywhere near a fucking computer screen, You should be locked up in a fucking cage and fed like twiglets.
Do you know what? I did see something hilarious yesterday. Let me just try and search one, but it's more. You'll probably agree with it, but I'm not too sure how outrageous it is. Let me just. All right, so someone tweeted yesterday, and this is in relation to Jorginho's performance against Leicester. So someone tweeted, Jorginho can't score, can't tackle, cannot assist. What is he good at? Sideways passes, Italian Rio Coca.
Oh,
So,
no. Oh, no.
Deary me.
Oh, no.
It's a bit of a brutal one. But I mean,
Oh, no.
Rio Coca, blimey.
Oh.
I thought that one was quite apt. So,
What is he doing these days, Nigel Rio Coca?
isn't he working for? He's working for one of the TV
He's
channels
doing for BBC. He's doing stuff for
BBC,
BBC. I know he's on
BBC
5 Live.
now.
Yeah.
He's only at MK Dons this year. Didn't play a game, but signed for him.
Yeah. I actually
Oh,
liked
he
Rio
hasn't
Coca
retired
when he
yet.
was at Villa.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So he hasn't retired yet?
Yeah, he has. He only signed to like a 6-month contract by the looks of it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Might be time to put it down.
Yeah, short-term deal until the end of this 2017-18 season. But yeah, what about, so do you rate Jorginho? Is he better than Nigel Rio Coca?
Are we asking that question? Or...
Well, we need to debunk this shit opinion, don't we?
He's clear of Rio Coca. When was Rio Coca ever good?
That's the thing.
Against.
So my outrageous opinion is from Joe Sharp at Shapri123. I play football with him. He was part of the old Playmakers podcast. He is full of shit opinions. Absolutely full of them. This one today was brought up after Tottenham smashed Everton 6-2, was it? He thinks Pickford is the worst keeper in the league, and he is dining off the penalty save against Colombia. He's not the worst keeper in the league, is he? Surely.
He's not the worst, but he's definitely not one of the best, in my opinion, anyway. I've never rated him that highly.
I'll be honest, I was looking for the starting goalkeepers and going, do you know what? He probably is one of the bottom enders, really. Because I look at teams like Newcastle, Dubravka, like we said, quite rate him. Fabianski, quality. The worst keeper in the league for me has got to be Jonas Lertel at Huddersfield.
Oh, he's trash.
Oh my
He's
God.
trash.
What a shout. Yeah, we have a winner.
And then I'm looking at the Fulham keepers. They've got 3 of them, and they're all equally as shit as each other. And then the Saints keeper, Alex McCarthy, he's dog shit. Who else? The only other one's possibly worse is Wayne Hennessy for me.
Oh, Crystal Palace.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Again, that's not. I've not got a thing for him.
he's actually he's trash. Yeah. He's trash.
Does anyone actually rate Pickford any higher, or would you? Or would you say
Jordan Pickford is just this guy that drinks 15 Red Bulls before every game. He punches himself in the head so he can get himself hyped up. You know,
he's well emotionally charged, isn't he? I think that's half his problem.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing. This is what I think I spoke to Kojo about this on my show a while back. It's like England goalkeepers recently. When they get a bit of fame, they turn into absolute nutcases. Like I remember Joe Hart was shouting at some kid, some ball boy during the World Cup. Like Paul Robinson turned into one of these players where he was yelling at fans and getting songs going after games and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what it is. Like there's this weird when you wear that number 1 shirt. It's like you turn into an utter fucking nutcase. I think the only one that was sane was David Seaman or Chris Woods. I don't know. Maradona maybe fucked up the number 1 shirt for England. Hey, look, I've got a tweet here. I've just found one. It's a guy called @ClinicalRudy, and he's responding to Mark Goldbridge to talk. Goldbridge put out a tweet saying Liverpool City and Spurs are gone. It's basically Chelsea, Arsenal, hopefully United going for 4th. And if United finish 4th after the season we've had, it's going to be a huge L for anyone below us. And this Clinical Rudy goes, "You've won 1 game against Cardiff, which every other 6 top team has battered. You're still 8 points behind Chelsea and Arsenal. Take a step back. Also, you have an awful GD. Also, Chelsea are likely to invest in January, meaning we'll get better. Also. Right, so, Rudy, please. Rudy, let's
Can you just tell me what accent that was?
I don't know. It was a bit of Greek mixed with a bit of North African with a bit of Moroccan somewhere. That's North Africa, isn't it? But yeah, it's somewhere there. Lots of crab juice drinking language. But yeah, you've won 1 game against Cardiff, which every other top 6 team has battered. Well, Arsenal didn't batter Cardiff, did they?
No.
I don't remember Arsenal battering Cardiff. Spurs only beat Cardiff in the last 10-15 minutes. They gave them pacing afterwards, but they struggled. Did Chelsea demolish Cardiff? I don't remember them doing it. So I can't really think of any game where Cardiff have actually really been dicked this season. Can anyone else? Am I way out of this one? I don't know.
No,
Chelsea Cardiff was 4-1. Arsenal Cardiff was 3-2, wasn't it? That was a bloody good game, that one.
Yep.
Who's the other team we talking about?
Liverpool struggled until the last 20 minutes of that game at Anfield. Really?
Was that 2-0? Was that 2-0 against Cardiff with Liverpool?
What, Liverpool? No, I think they beat them, was it 4-1 in the end or something like that? 3-1 or 4-1? Okay. But it was quite close, like 2-1 at the time.
City did dick them 5-0. Yeah. So that was when City were probably at the peak of their season, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he goes, you're 8 points behind Chelsea and Arsenal, take a step back. Well, 8 points is nothing at this stage of the season. 8 points is absolutely zilch. And the way that Chelsea are playing at the moment, I don't know, man. The Sarri myth continues, as I like to say. Another overrated sack of shit.
That's an odd one, isn't it? That is an odd one.
Listen,
that
guy,
is brutal. That is brutal.
No, I'm sorry. Like, listen. Let me tell you something, right? Right? People talk. Okay, Pochettino hasn't won anything. We know this, right? He hasn't won anything in his career. We know this, but he's a young, vibrant manager, right? Maurizio Sarri, this guy is 59 years old, right? He's been managing since when? 1990. He's been a manager for almost 30 years, and he hasn't won fuck all. I mean, what does that tell you? And I don't care what anyone tells about the clubs that he's managed. I mean, who has he managed? Pescara, Hellas Verona, Perugia, Sorrento. Like, the only thing he's ever done was do half decent at Empoli and bottle the league title for Napoli. What has he done, like, to change football? He isn't a Johan Cruyff. He isn't anyone special. He's just an Italian guy that smokes cigarettes and can pat people on the back. That's all he does.
Oh, come on, Stel. It's the romantic story.
Bullshit,
he was just a banker.
Romantic story is Ranieri, who got sacked by Chelsea, winning the title off Chelsea. That's a romantic story. Maurizio Sarri is the biggest fraud in football. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, that's a big one.
Love that.
Can anyone name a bigger fraud than Sarri? Apart from Zaha?
A fraud?
God,
Like his Wikipedia, I get this. From a tactical standpoint, Sarri is known for his intelligence, attention to detail, and his meticulous approach as a manager when it comes to preparing matches during weekly training sessions.
Couldn't
Is
beat
that
Claude
it?
Puel.
That's what a fucking coach is meant to be, is it not?
Lost to Claude Puel, the most boring man on the
Fucking
planet.
hell. He plays a high defensive line and adopts the offside trap and zonal marking. Zonal marking doesn't work, ladies and gents. It doesn't fucking work. I don't care what anyone says. It does not work. It's bollocks. Here, you stand on this blade of grass and you stand 3 meters behind him and you lot stand in the square and then just attack that area. Okay. All right. L'Equipe has described it as vertical tiki-taka. What the fuck are you talking
Wait, what's
about?
that?
L'Equipe has described this style of football as vertical tiki-taka.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Italian Encyclopedia Tracani instead coined the term Sarissimo to describe the offensive and spectacular style of football that Sarri's teams play. What, playing Hazard as a false nine and doing nothing? Yeah, okay. You've turned Eden Hazard from one of the most exciting footballers in the Prem into this static false nine. Fuck off.
I think I've got a contender for outrageous opinion next week.
It's brilliant. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to sign Jorginho because I can get someone to spray balls 10 yards square. Yeah, crazy.
Get Jordan Henderson for that. Legend.
Fucking hell.
We'll finish up with something close to all your hearts. We've touched on Man United beating Cardiff 5-1.
1 minute. Sorry, can I just interrupt you? Arrigo Sacchi praised the style employed by Sarri's Napoli side as the most important thing seen in Italy in the last 20 years. Yeah, because Juventus have been dominating for the past 20 years, and you need someone to fucking break it. And what happened? They were top of the league with 5 games to go, and they crumbled. Farley's rusks.
And that's now been topped because the best thing I've seen to happen to Italian football is Nainggolan getting suspended today for lying about being robbed of 150 grand.
Yeah, but the reason why he was dropped from the Belgian national team is because he's a shithouse. You know, drinking, smoking, acting like a dickhead. He's another overrated footballer. Fucking FIFA fanboy fuckwits.
I had him on FIFA and I sacked him off because I thought he was shit. All right, yeah, we'll get on to the last quick topic. Obviously, you three United fans, you beat Cardiff 5-1. At the time of my notes, it was only 4-1 because I turned it off before Lingard got that 5th goal. Is there any situation that can happen where Solskjaer gets the job full time?
Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think it.
I think it would have to be somehow get top 4 and somehow advance far in the Champions League before they even go near considering, okay, let's think about him as an option. He's just like he's a pit stop right now, to be honest. Get the players playing football, get them smiling, and then we'll bring in someone that can do whatever they can after to hopefully get us success. So yeah, he's a pit stop for now. If he does really well in the Champions League somehow, and somehow gets Man United top 4, then it wouldn't surprise me if they gave him like a year contract. But I'm not expecting him to stay and then just get the hell out of there.
You got anything for us still on that?
Well, in Sarri's Wikipedia entry, according to the personal life, Sarri is well known for his smoking habit and is often seen smoking during games. Ooh. Vertical smoking, ladies and gentlemen. I teach you how to smoke a cigarette very properly. Yes. See? No. Listen, I'm buzzing at the moment with United because we have been. It's like we're malnourished when it comes to stylish football. I mean, the last time we scored 5 goals was under David Moyes against Leverkusen. For fuck's sake, that's terrible. Listen, Ollie's come in. I don't think he's going to be a long-term manager. He's come to steady the ship, get that feel-good factor back. The thing is, what annoys me most about the whole situation with Solskjaer coming in and Mourinho and whatnot is that no one has pointed the fingers to the Glazers or Ed Woodward for this whole situation. It's not just Jose's fault. It's not just the players' fault. It's the hierarchy. The other thing that people haven't mentioned is that the Glazers are looking to sell the club because they know that once Brexit happens the pound isn't going to be as strong as what it is, and the club's value is going to go down, down, down. So, yeah, this whole Ole thing has basically been done to bring back some kind of feel-good factor to the club, get the players back on side, and add money, add value to the club, because the share prices went up like 150 million. Sorry, the value of the club went up 150 million when Solskjaer was announced as the interim head coach. So a lot of these decisions are methodically done, and it isn't just performance related. We've seen how they've absolutely pillaged Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're a shadow of the team that won the Super Bowl years ago. They've neglected them. The attendances are down. United have basically been keeping Tampa Bay going, believe it or not. So it's just a fucking joke. But on the pitch, I can't complain with that performance, man. Pogba got 2 assists. Lingard's got on the score sheet. All of our front men scored. That third goal. The third goal, Martial's goal, was just
third goal, yeah.
Football porn, man. We haven't seen that kind of play since Fergie's last year. So, yeah, onwards and upwards. We can't get too excited, but we've got winnable games coming up. So, yeah, I'm happy at the moment.
Yeah, I think the thing for me with United is the fact that we can, before, looking forward to United games was a bit of a chore. You were just like, it could be a day where it finally clicks, but more often than not, it doesn't click. And I think still, you're right, man. Like, they're contrary to what most people believe about the Glazers, people think they're naive, they don't know what they're doing. But these guys are absolutely meticulous over Manchester United. They're not making millions of revenue by chance. Like the way the press talk about United and the way they feed out these articles make it seem like these guys are incompetent fools, and they're not. They're not. Like, they're really not. But obviously, when it comes to managing the football side of things, yes, they have many flaws that United have paid for the past 6 seasons. Do you know what I mean? So I just really hope that they're able to really steady the ship with Ollie's appointment. And I think to be honest, right, for Ollie right now, it's a free hit. He can do no wrong, because at the end of the day, what was happening under United is that under Mourinho is that the players weren't trying, and they were losing. Right now, if the United players are trying to play attacking football and they're still losing, nobody's really going to mind, because we're not expected to get the top 4 at all. Let's hope through the Christmas period that United can squeeze down the points to Chelsea, and then there is something to sort of aim for. Because right now, what I want to see from the United players is them actually playing good football, and when the pressure is on, not buckle. And I think that is one thing, especially under Mourinho, we did see some flickers of light in terms of them being in the pressure cooker and actually able to produce some results. So we'll see. But I think if Ollie can win the Champions League and get top 4, as Kojo said, man, I think he could possibly be considered. But I think they really do want to get Pochettino.
Yeah, but all of this is down to if there's a sale of the club. Don't forget, whoever comes in, they'll want to bring in their own man. And that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that that's the reason why they've gone for a caretaker appointment?
Absolutely.
As opposed to hiring a new coach.
And I think that's why they sacked Mourinho as well. Because the longer Mourinho was there, the more
it damages the value of the club.
Exactly. Because don't forget, the higher up you finish in the table, the more money you bring in. And for the Glazers, every penny counts. Do you get what I'm saying? So put it this way: if you are a potential buyer, would you be more inclined to buy a club that is, I don't know, challenging for a top 4 place without a manager, but you can bring in your own, or you got a manager there that if you get rid of, you have to fork out 16 or 18 million, however much it was. And then you got a team full of players that are demotivated, that don't want to know. At least now, regardless of what happens at the end of the season, we can say that our players are actually going to put in a shift because they have to. They've got no option but to put in a shift for Solskjaer, because he's a club legend. He knows what the club's about. He's brought in people like Mike Phelan. He's doing really well with Carrick and McKenna. So everything's there for the players. They've got nothing to hide behind. For the past
Absolutely,
4 years, 5 years, sorry, they've been hiding behind managers. They've been hiding behind the whole bickering. They've been hiding behind everything. And the moment Chris Smalling signed that new contract, I knew that was it for Jose. Because there's
exactly.
no way he
I
would have
said the
wanted
same
him.
thing. Yeah,
There's no way he would have wanted him, right?
Yeah.
So, but we saw yesterday, like Lindelof was playing through balls, like Pogba was the leash was off. Phil Jones almost scored, for fuck's sake. So the fullbacks were getting forward. Has been so well documented. And when we scored, I remember under Ferguson, whenever United scored, he'd tell all the players to celebrate together, right? Because the opponents would see them like that, and it'd kill a bit of time as well. We're doing that again. I don't know if you noticed, we're doing that again.
Yeah.
And again, this is what Ole's learned as a manager. And again, if he was a guy like, I don't know, someone that they appointed internally, who like Carrick, for example. Imagine if they brought in Carrick, I'd be very worried because Carrick's got no experience whatsoever. But Solskjaer has won the Norwegian league. I know it's a dog and duck league. Back in the day, he's done it. Mold came in, and they what's it called? They broke Rosenberg's what's it called?
Their dominance.
Yeah, exactly. And these European football, they've done relatively well in the Europa League. So, he's ingrained in the United DNA. The players have got no option but to turn up for this guy because the fans love him. The fans will never turn on Solskjaer. It's like with Liverpool and Dalglish. They would never turn on him. I know they didn't want him to stay long-term because things are a bit stale, but he's a club legend. And it's the same with Ole. You can't turn your back on this guy because the fans will turn big time. And especially now that Pogba's released his new emoji app as well, which I told you guys he was going to do ages ago.
You mentioned that before.
Yes, I did indeed. See, I know these things. So they've got no option but to turn up because the fans will turn on them, and it will get very ugly very soon. I remember when Rooney turned down his contract, and then a lot of fans turned up at his house, and then a couple of days later he did a U-turn. So it will come to that. What annoys me is that our fans, in fact, British fans in general, we're pussies when it comes to the team. Because if it was in Greece or Turkey or Italy, they would have effigies of the owners' heads on sticks, and they would be doing all sorts of shit, to get them out. But out here, it's like, okay, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, it's looking slightly up for you, isn't it? There's obviously a long way to go, and a lot more football to be played. So we'll see. Tough Champions League draw, but PSG, they're playing the Farmers League, you'll be all right.
Well, they're explosive going forward, but defensively, it's a bit. And again, Thomas Tuchel, I'm not sold on this guy. I really am not. So.
No, we'll see. What is that? February, isn't it? February the Champions League kicks off.
That's right. Yep. Yeah.
So got a while to wait, but we'll call it there because it's getting late, and I've got some prep to do before recording another show. So thanks for coming on, boys. I do appreciate your time.
You're welcome, mate.
Yeah,
no problemos.
Kojo can go throw some shapes now out on the streets.
Yeah.
Let's go dancing. You can find all of these boys' shows in the links below, and if you check out the FNX website, you'll find them there. Also, Pitch DMM2. I think we're all on the radio there, aren't we? So, give that a listen. Subscribe, give us a review, follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Like us on Facebook as well. I've got 2 likes at the moment, and one of them's me, which is depressing. So, yeah, give us a shout on there.
And the other like was from someone who doesn't like Sari.
What a mystery. But yeah, we'll see you lot 28th. I reckon I'll do another one once the Boxing Day games are over. But thank you very much for coming on, boys, and I shall see you soon.